others know what your plan is. If you have a plan, share it. Let them know where you're going to be, what you plan on doing, so at least they have some idea. So it's not a frantic call. They know you're safe. They know you're okay. You told them ahead of time what you're going to be doing, what they can expect, especially if they lose communications, where you're going to be. So again, planning out ahead of time and letting them know if you do lose communications, this is what we're going to be doing at that time.
That's a good tip.
Yeah.
Evacuation centers.
Yes.
What is that going to be like?
Evacuation centers are not some place that you would make reservations for. In other words, it's going to be very austere. It's going to be very basic. It is just like the term sounds. It's an evacuation center. This is where we bring people in to get them out of harm's way. That's the sole purpose. It's going to be very austere, very bare bones. There's going to be sheltering and protection from the elements, basic food, water, but not much more than that.
Yeah, so you need to bring some of those items. Don't just show up.
Don't show up and don't plan on making dinner reservations. You're not going to be served anything, and so whatever you could bring with you, just like in your emergency kit, bring that with you.
And it's important. Sarasota County operates those for us.
Yes.
A lot of those locations are here in Northport because we're away from the coast.
Correct. Yes.
And most of them have now, if not all of them, have become pet friendly.
Yes.
And that's a big deal for folks.
Absolutely. And I don't know, for our family, our pets are our family.
Sure.
We treat them just like any other member of the family. We make sure we have their papers, we make sure we have their food, make sure we have a place for them to stay, because they're going to be separate. They're not going to be with the families within the shelter themselves. They're going to put in another safe area. Just because within the shelter itself, we might have people who might have allergies to pets. So we want to keep them safe, but be prepared to take care of them. Be prepared to go take a look on them every now and then, but be prepared with them just like you would any other member of the family.
Yeah. And in years past, it used to be only certain ones were pet friendly, but now pretty much, and they knew that that was keeping people from going and getting out of harm's way.
Yes, so. And we understand that, like I said, pets are a very, very important part, and so we want to make sure that we're accommodating them as well.
As far as COVID's changed a lot of things in our lives, I can imagine in a evacuation center, it's, how do you balance that?
Yeah, one of the things that we've had to do over the last year is kind of provide more spacing between groups. In other words, you come in with a family, you're kind of be generally located with your family, but you'll be a little bit more distant, separated from other families. The difference is a lot of times now there's not a lot of mingling. In other words, you don't see people walking around talking to each other. They kind of stay within their groups just to maintain that social distancing, just to make sure that everybody's safe, staying healthy, but they're out of harm's way. But again, it's a little bit more limited in terms of the actual social interaction.
Lots of options for shelters here in Northport. How do people know where to go?
Basically, what we will do is we will let you know what shelters are open. And as you stated before, we have several options. However, when a storm comes along, that doesn't necessarily mean that all the shelters are open. We will let our residents know what shelters are open, when they are going to open, and when they can report to those shelters. So pay very, very close attention to the shelters that are going to be open, because even though we have shelters available, doesn't necessarily mean that they're all open for every storm.
And again, we'll have a lot of that information. What we've done in Northport is anytime there's an event, whether it's COVID or a storm, we have our alerts page. It's a button that's on our city app, North Report. I'm going to keep plugging that. Or if you just go to cityofnorthport.com/alerts, we'll have all the latest info. We're sitting there 24/7, when these types of events happen, to make sure that that's all in one spot. Everybody can find it every time. It's not some new website.
Yeah, it's a great resource. It's updated real time, so you get the latest information that you need to know.
A lot of people want to know, storm happens, I'm in a shelter, when can I leave?
A lot of times, of course, you're not being held within the shelter, but what we'll do is we'll advise you, or the shelter staff will let you know when it's safe to go back outside.
Today is Tuesday, November 23rd, 2021. It is 4 p.m. We are in the city chambers, and I call the Fire Rescue District meeting to order. Commissioners present are Commissioner McDowell, Commissioner White, Mayor Emmerich, Vice Mayor Langdon, and Commissioner Luke. There is a quorum. Also present are City Manager Fletcher, City Attorney Slayton, City Clerk Taylor, Recording Secretary Baker, Assistant Deputy Chief Morales, and Fire Chief Titus. I am calling on Commissioner White to please lead us with this Pledge of Allegiance for our Thanksgiving holidays.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I will now call upon approval of the agenda. Yes, ma'am. Fire rescue. We have a motion to accept the agenda as is for the fire district governing meeting made by Commissioner McDowell and seconded by Commissioner Luke. Please vote.
I just need to say our
I'm
name.
just getting ready to send it.
Okay, our names are mixed up.
I was just sending her an email.
Mine says Debbie McDowell, hers says Alice White, and that's how it voted too.
Go ahead and do your vote.
Okay.
And that passes 5-0.
Okay.
Technical difficulties will be just 1 second. And while you're walking, I will ask, is there any online public comment? There is not. And there is no inside public comment. Consent agenda. City manager, has anything been pulled from the consent agenda?
No, Mr. Mayor.
I'll look for a motion.
I move to approve the items in the consent agenda.
I have a motion by Vice Mayor Langdon to approve the agenda as amended and seconded by, I believe, Commissioner McDowell. Commissioner Luke, my apologies. Please vote.
Wasn't here, sorry.
Oh. Wait, there it goes. And that passes 5-0. All right, on to public hearings. Yeah, resolution of the city of Northport, Florida. City clerk, will you read it by title only?
Resolution number 2021-R-52, a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Northport, Florida, as the governing body of the Northport Fire Rescue District, establishing a schedule and location of Fire Rescue District regular meetings for the 2022 calendar year, providing for findings, providing for conflicts, providing for severability, and providing an effective date.
And city clerk to speak to the item.
Self-explanatory, it's just the upcoming meetings for fire rescue for this next year.
Okay. Commission questions? Don't see any names on the board. Motion?
I'll go ahead and make a motion if you're ready to close the public hearing.
Yeah, close the public hearing and request a motion.
All right, I move to approve resolution number 2021-R-52 as presented.
Second.
I have a motion on the floor by Commissioner Luke to approve resolution number 2021-R-52 as presented and seconded by Commissioner McDowell. I did the towing calls. Please vote. And that passes 5-0. Moving on to, is there any online public comment?
There is not.
And none in-house. It is 4:05 PM. I adjourn this meeting. Today is Tuesday, November 23rd, 2021. It is 4:05 PM. We are in the city chambers, and I call the Road and Drainage District meeting to order. We have the same people present in the last meeting, and we did the pledge. So I'm looking for an approval of the agenda.
I move to approve the agenda as presented.
We have a motion to approve the agenda as presented by Vice Mayor Langdon, seconded by Commissioner McDowell. Please vote.
We needed to pull a resolution off the agenda.
I
Was
thought it
that,
was amended.
did you amend it to?
It was, the agenda was already amended prior to that email earlier. It was just a little confusing how it was written.
Thank you.
Yes.
Forget that.
Okay. Just waiting on your vote, Commissioner.
I can't, I voted and it kicked me out. I think I'm going to have technical difficulties all meeting.
And that passes 5-0. Okay, moving on to public hearings. Resolution number 2021-R-35. And have the city clerk read by title only, please.
We need to do the consent agenda.
I thought we just did that.
That was the regular agenda.
Okay. Sorry, I'm moving too fast. All right. Need a motion for the consent agenda, or has anything been pulled? City manager?
No, Mr. Mayor.
Okay.
I'll make a motion, Mayor.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda for Road and Drainage District meeting as presented.
Second.
We have a motion on the floor by Commissioner McDowell to approve the consent agenda as presented, seconded by Vice Mayor Langdon. Please vote. Yeah, these buttons are sticking. And that passes 5-0. Now moving on to public hearings, correct? Okay. I apologize. Resolution number 2021-R-35. City Clerk, can you read that by title only?
Resolution number 2021-R-35, a resolution of the City of Northport, Florida, accepting a traffic signal pole and maintenance easement located on Tamiami Trail at Fredo Boulevard and described as a portion of a tract of land lying in Section 32, Township 39 South, Range 20 East, Sarasota County Property Appraiser, parcel identification number 078-300-1005, providing for incorporation of recitals, providing for filing of documents, providing for conflict, providing for severability, and providing an effective date.
Thank you. City Manager?
Commissioner, I'm sorry, Mayor.
Yeah, there's a question.
The title block that she read, I didn't hear her say that the governing body of the Northport Road and Drainage District. I just want to make sure the correct title block is read into the record.
This is the correct title block that was on the agenda.
Does your title block say the Northport Road and Drainage District?
No, it does not. Let me pull up the attachments on the agenda and see if it's different there. I can read it again.
please.
Resolution number 2021-R-35, a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Northport, Florida, as the governing body of the Northport Road and Drainage District, accepting a traffic signal pole and maintenance easement located on Tamiami Trail at Fredo Boulevard and described as a portion of a tract of land lying in Section 32, Township 39 South, Range 20 East, Sarasota County Property Appraiser Parcel Identification Number 078-300-1005, providing for incorporation of recitals, providing for filing of documents, providing for conflicts, providing for severability, and providing an effective date.
Thank you, City Clerk.
Okay. Now, City Manager, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This item is for the acceptance of the easement and will provide access for traffic signal pole maintenance for city staff on Tamiami Trail and Fredo Boulevard. We do have staff, Mr. Chuck Speak, Acting Public Works Director, here for any questions.
Okay. Commission questions. Do we have any?
Yeah, I do.
I'm not seeing your
I'm
name
sorry.
over here.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
I didn't, yeah.
Commissioner White.
Just for people who don't know, where is Fredo Boulevard?
Mr.
Chuck
Speak.
Speak, Interim Public Works Director. Fredo is in West Villages at 41. So it is one of the main roads that comes out to 41 out of the West Villages.
Okay, so that's the one that's just north of River Road that doesn't have a traffic light?
It's where the fire station is going in.
Right, it's further up,
Oh,
further north.
okay. Is there something there now? Isn't there a turn into there now or no?
There's traffic lanes that turn in there. It was all designed that way. This is for the signal that they put in for us to have a maintenance access to that. So we can maintain that signal.
Oh, okay. So is this going to be a regular traffic light or just when they need to come out?
It's a complete traffic signal there.
Okay. One more traffic light. Okay.
There's a lot of volume that traffic
Yes,
brings
there
in.
is a lot of volume there. I understand. Yeah, sure. All right, thank you.
Sure.
Any other questions from commissioners? I'll be looking for a motion.
I move to
Public
approve
comment.
resolution number 2021-R-35 as presented, sir.
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion on the floor to approve resolution 2021-R-35 as presented by Commissioner Luke and seconded by Commissioner McDowell. Anything to that? Please vote. Not liking me either. And that passes 5-0. Moving on to resolution number 2021-R-53. City Clerk, can you read that by title only?
Resolution number 2021-R-53, a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Northport, Florida, as the governing body of the Northport Road and Drainage District, establishing a schedule and location of Road and Drainage District regular meetings for the 2022 calendar year, providing for findings, providing for conflicts, providing for severability, and providing an effective date.
Okay, I'm pretty sure this is the same as last time, but do
Yes.
you care to speak on it?
Thank you.
All righty then. Is there any online public comment or any commissioner questions?
There is not.
Any online public comment? No, no in. I close the public hearing and request a motion.
I'll make a motion, Mayor. I move to approve resolution number 2021-R-53 as presented.
Okay, I have a motion on the floor to approve resolution number 2021-R-53 as presented by Vice Mayor Langdon and seconded by Commissioner Luke. Anything to that?
No,
Please
sir.
vote. And that passes 5-0. Have we received any public comment from outside?
We have not.
And we have none from inside. It's 4:15 and I adjourn this meeting. Today is Tuesday, November 23rd, 2021. It is 4:15 p.m. We are in the city chambers, and I call the Solid Waste District meeting to order. Everyone is still present from the prior two meetings, and I am looking for a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved, Mayor.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. I have a motion on the floor to approve the agenda from Commissioner McDowell and seconded by Vice Mayor Langdon. Please vote.
Oh, my gosh.
And that's all good at 5-0. Public comment. Is
There's
there any?
none.
And none in-house, I take it. And has anything been pulled off of the consent agenda, City Manager?
No, sir, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. I'll look for a motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented by Commissioner Luke and seconded by Vice Mayor Langdon. Please vote. And that passes 5-0. Moving on to public hearings. Resolution number 2021-R-54. City Clerk, by title only, please.
Resolution number 2021-R-54, a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Northport, Florida, as the governing body of the Northport Solid Waste District, establishing a schedule and location of Solid Waste District regular meetings for the 2022 calendar year, providing for findings, providing for conflicts, providing for severability, and providing an effective date.
Not even asking commission questions. Is there any public comment? Close the public hearing and request a motion.
I move to approve resolution number 2021-R-54.
Second.
I have a motion on the floor to approve resolution number 2021-R-54 as presented by Commissioner Luke, seconded by Commissioner McDowell. Please vote. And that passes 5-0. Moving on to general business. City Manager, 21-1526, sorry. City Manager, introduce the item.
Absolutely. This item, discussion and possible action for a solid waste transfer station. Per commission direction, staff is bringing back information for consideration on potential site location, design, construction, and operations of a solid waste transfer station in the city of Northport. In front of us today, we have Solid Waste Manager, Mr. Frank Flama, as well as Acting Public Works Director, Mr. Chuck Speak, to answer and provide a presentation.
For the record, Frank Lama, Solid Waste Manager. City Manager, City Attorney, Commissioners, Mayor, City Clerks, happy Thanksgiving from the Public Works Department. All right?
Where's the video?
The video will be coming December 17th.
Oh, cool.
That's the
Good to know.
official release date.
Yes, sir.
That done.
Yes, sir. So in 6 more days, I will have worked here 21 years.
Wow.
It's pretty incredible.
Congratulations.
Yep, 6 more days. During that time period, though, we did some great things here. Some projects and things we've done. And it starts off in 2008. We did the one side of the street collection, saved a bunch of money. We also, in 2016, we did the rotating recycling. 2019, we did our recycling center. 2021, we did our yard waste center. And here we are today to discuss the solid waste transfer station, something our city, necessary for our city. Our growing city, definitely necessary. So we're gonna go ahead and start the presentation. Before I start, additional information has been provided as well. All right, So for those that do not know, what is a transfer station? So a transfer station is a temporary holding facility for solid waste material which serves as a convenient hub to manage refuse. It reduces costs of transporting solid waste to distant sites, affordable and environmentally sound way to handle all collected solid waste material for communities that do not have convenient access to disposal sites. And those two right there, those 2 points, that's us. That's the city of Northport. We're doing it with the recycling now, and we're doing it with the yard waste. And hopefully we can trend towards the solid waste, the garbage itself. But it is an important part of the modern solid waste management process, and you can see the picture. So our trucks collect at a home, it would take it to a transfer station, which go into larger vehicles, and the larger vehicles will take it to the landfill. Now remember, because it's going to a larger vehicle, it eliminates a lot of the smaller trucks from going back and forth. So it's very important. What does a transfer station look like? This is the city of Sarasota. To the right of the picture is our old transfer station. It was built in 1990. It sits on 4.6 acres. They additionally, back in 2019, they added a renovation. It cost $3.6 million, and that's the building in the middle. So now they use the building in the middle, 4.6 acres. It's not open to the public. It's a non-compaction station, and we'll kind of get into that later on in the transfer station, what that means. But only garbage is transferred there. Only garbage, nothing else. No recycling, no yard waste, no recycling, because they're in the city of Sarasota. Everything's local to them. So the only thing that is far is the garbage. So that's all that comes out of this station right here. So the city operates it, but they haul the material with a contractor. And we've done that in the past, and I know we got away from that because I don't believe it's well worth it. But they spend $1.65 million on transfer. It comes out to $31.38 a ton. That's what they pay. So comparisons between the city of Northport and Sarasota, Sarasota does 52,000 tons a year for garbage at 200 tons a day. Northport collects 42,300 tons, and we do 163 tons a day. That's what Northport does.
Say that number again?
Sure. Which one? Both of them? Yeah. Yep. The city of Sarasota does 52,000 tons at 200 tons a day. Northport, we collect 42,300 tons a year at 163 tons a day. Any questions? Yes, ma'am. City of Sarasota. So what to look for in a property? We're looking at lot size, undeveloped, zoning, future land use options, amount of property within site, and that would be acre that can be developed after considering quantity of wetlands and flood hazard area. Close proximity to collector roads, total cost to develop site. So the developing site, its utilities, its surface features is factors that just pop up, and the ability to permit site into a transfer station. So staff investigated many properties, and of course you always look at NIMBY, which is not in my backyard, right? We looked at name, we looked at location, we looked at undeveloped, we looked at zone, acres, appraised, and possibility. The appraised, of course, is what you see on the tax appraisal site. It's not what it would be sold for, so the cost could be very much higher than this. So, and the possibility. So what we did was we broke it down in bad, good, and neutral, and some of these might have changed. Even though they're green, after further investigation, this has changed now. So I'll go through it. So Interstate 75, we checked north and south of 75. We checked 3 properties there. Good size, except they appraised very high, and they are looking for a very high cost. So they're bad. Marsh Creek over here on Sumter Boulevard, just south of Price itself. That was $2.8 million. And plus they're going to build homes there. So that was out of the question. South Cranberry, South Chamberlain, NIMBY. We're not even going near there. We're not even going to talk about it. Let's talk about Toledo Blade and 75. I know back in 2012, we thought about putting some on Toledo Blade. We looked at Toledo Blade in 75. Property was good, 1419. It was 272,000 appraised. Cost is too high. So we bypassed that. So we went to American Monument, Toledo Blade and Price, runs both north and south right at Price. Properties were good. As you can see here, you're looking at 1.4 million or higher. And that's just appraised, not even what they're looking for. So Toledo Blade is the hot spot. That's for sure. All bad. So Trinity Holdings, South Yorkshire Street, located near Hillsborough, looked good, property looked good. 21 acres, 269,400. After further investigation with Trinity Holdings, it ended up being the church, Venice Church of Diocese owns that, so they're going to keep that. City of Northport, Panacea. Okay, Panacea is a nice property, 83.69 acres. Cost is $948,000, but it's city-owned. Nice piece. The problem there is NIMBY. It's kind of near Hobblebrush, Lakeside Plantation. It is Panacea just over the waterway, heading towards the Woodland School. It's right in back of the Woodland School. It runs against 75. Looking at that property, though, there's one little strip going from Panacea back to the property, and we're a little afraid about the size of that and then the homes facing that property. So we have to be careful with that. Okay, next one was City of Northport Langley Park, and 53.46 acres. Of course, we've brought this up in the past. 948,700. It's neutral. I mean, it's a possibility. It's out there. I know the last time we talked about it, it kind of didn't go the way it might have, but that is a possibility. So we also looked at SRQ Tropical on North Yorkshire Street. There's 5 properties out there, all pretty good size. Also, again, all looking good. SRQ Tropical, we tried to get a hold of them. They have 26 different names on their SRQ Tropical. Trying to find the person that owns it would be great, but we feel that there's a good possibility there. It's a new commercial area. The price could be very high. And we're not trying to spend a lot of money, especially on the land. Because remember, you got to pay for the engineering, the design, the construction. That's all involved too. So the solid waste property for the City of Northport, thank you very much for letting us have that. 9.82 acres, about 2 acres of wetlands there, and it's a great piece of property. Praised at $55,000. I think I got a steal on that, Chuck. I think I did. It's good. It's good. So that property there, we'll get into it a little bit in the next frame, definitely can work. It can work. So the City of Northport also owns a site, North Yorkshire Street. It's off of Teal Lane and Silverleaf, up in the top corner. The problem with that is that it's 15 acres of wetlands and the rest is property, and it's a flood area, so we're kind of, it's a neutral area. I really wouldn't put anything there. So Fulham Camp, Veterans Boulevard access. Man, this is a good site. Great site. Commercial, 37.92. It's good. We asked him for a price. He wants $4 million. So that's out of the question.
How much?
$4 million.
That's what I thought you said. Oh,
Yeah.
dear Lordy Lord.
So that's out of the question.
Good old Dennis.
So here's a map, of course, of the properties. And if you have any questions, I know we gave out our 5 top properties that you did receive. The red, of course, is the ones rejected. The yellow is a possibility, and the greens were definitely good. And the 2 on the bottom that are green there, they turned out to be no good. So here's our solid waste property. As you can see, there's 4 or 5 properties north of our property. Now, those properties there add up to about 1.5 acres. They're zoned residential. We can rezone them commercial for future use, about 25, I think it was $15,000 for appraised. Figure maybe we can get it for $25,000. As you can see, the line there, dirt, that's where the wetlands are on the right and our property's on the left. This is a good piece of property. If we get to go ahead and get the 1.5 acres for future, we can definitely make this work. This is something we can work on. And it is owned by solid waste. So, viability of a transfer station. Minimize 20-year life cycle costs, including capital and operation. Minimize building and site development costs. Minimize transportation payloads. minimize greenhouse gas footprint. We are all about that. Possibility of utilizing electric vehicles in the future, and we definitely have been looking at that also. We're looking at about 10, maybe 10 years out. Design variables: required capacity and amount of waste storage desired, types of waste received, processes required to recover material from waste stream or preparation for shipment, types of collection vehicles using the facility, types of vehicles that can be accommodated at the transfer facility, site topography and access, building types and grade separation costs. And the building types, of course, is what we choose that's going to fit inside that building. Grade separation cost is incredible. There's different types of transfer stations. There's some that they build up because you have to build a transfer station up, and it costs a lot of money. And there's some that dig down 5 feet, and we'll kind of get into that in a little bit here. Feasibility. So, transfer station capacity. 3 different types. Small capacity, less than 100 tons. Medium capacity, 100 to 500 tons a day. Large capacity, more than 500 tons a day. City of Northport is medium capacity. We are doing 213 tons a day of all our solid waste. So, available options. The city can choose to develop, build, and operate a traditional transfer station and determine which type of transfer station best suits our community needs. There's a direct discharge station, which means the truck would back up, open the tailgate, and dump directly right into the hauler, right into the trailer. Then you have the platform non-compaction station. Here is when the trucks dump before the trailer, and then it is pushed in by loaders. And this is exactly what City of Sarasota uses. City of Sarasota uses non-compaction stations. Utilize new technology that reduces capital costs and increases payloads and reduces transfer station operating costs. We have been looking into this. This is something new. It's been around about 5 years. It's a direct discharge compaction station, meaning nothing touches the ground. It gets dumped right inside a pit, and the pit takes it up to a compactor, and it compacts the material. You get more on the loads, too. So let me go back a little bit, too. The platform non-compaction station, it's called the dirty floor. That's a dirty floor. The direct discharge compaction station, that is called the clean floor. So outsourcing. Company would design, build, and operate on city-owned property, or a company purchases land, design, build, and then operate. So our 10-year operating estimated costs and savings. Our continued current direct hauling is going to be about $50 million, $49,426,258,000. Traditional transfer station, around $41,434,786. Now the savings will be probably around $6 to $7 million. New technology for a transfer station, $36,468,443. A savings of close to 11 to 13 million, excuse me. So estimated cost to build a transfer station. Now these are just estimated. Now, of course, this is for a medium capacity transfer facility using a 2014 cost at a 2.5% year to 2021 values. That 2.5% might have changed now, it might even be 5% now. But we use the 2014 cost. This is only for a traditional transfer station. Has nothing to do with new technology, anything like that, just traditional. So construction, contingency, construction and engineering and inspection, mobile equipment, design and permitting, totaling around $5.4 million. So the estimated cost for a transfer station would be between $3 million and $10 million, depending on the property, because that's very huge. The estimated cost for leasing equipment, and when I talk about leasing equipment, it would be for new technology or for old technology, all the equipment being leased, would be $1 million to $4 million. Now, the $860,000 annually would be for a traditional. A traditional transfer station would cost you probably roughly around $860,000. And that would be $500,000 for operating costs and about $360,000 putting towards the construction payoff. But estimated it will take 1 to 2 years to pay off the equipment. If we do a traditional, we're going to try to pay the equipment off as soon as possible. Estimates it will take 15 to 20 years to pay off the construction of a transfer station. And if it goes as well as I believe it will, because of the recycling center and the yardway center, we can definitely put take some years off of there. So, in closing, our first option would be to own the land, outsource or private partnership to design, build, and operate the facility. That'd be option 1. Option 2 would be to own the land, design, build, and operate the facility ourselves. The property we would like to use is a solid waste property. We'll move forward with purchasing the 5 lots on the property for future use. And the funding will come from impact fee and surtax. So we're ready for any questions if you have any.
Yep. Commissioner Langdon.
Thank you, Mayor. You might have covered this. I apologize if you did, but it was a lot of numbers and a lot of information coming at me. So
My wife
I might have missed it.
my wife told me I have to slow it down.
Slow down.
A lot of things going on.
Okay, so is there a difference in the construction costs, or what is the difference in the construction costs of a compaction station
There would be.
versus a traditional?
There would be, and see if I can remember. Because we kind of looked at all of them. The traditional one was a little cheaper. If I can get back to you on that, I'd be able to do that for you. No problem.
Okay. Do you remember if it was significant, or do you have any recollection?
It's gonna be significant. It's definitely gonna be a couple $100,000 for sure.
Okay.
Because you have to remember something. If you do a traditional, the trailer doesn't have any kind of compaction to it. Now, if you're talking about the new technology, that's a whole different setup. So it could be a lot more. It could be like 860,000. So it depends on what you want to do there.
Do you have an estimate? So if we're compacting the trash, you had mentioned that you can fit a lot more trash
Sure can.
onto a truck.
Right.
Estimate of the savings, or how much more trash we can fit in a truck if we
Well,
compact
you're definitely
it?
going to have the savings on the fuel. You'll have the savings on ordering truck. I believe inside there we had, what was it, 1.3 million on vehicles?
Yeah. Is it a reduction in number of trips?
Yeah, the
Like-
trips, the employees, the vehicles, there's so much that goes with that. So much.
And one last question. I mean, there's nothing out there now, but this is an area that we're anticipating will have a lot of commercial and industrial development. Is there an odor improvement in a clean floor versus a dirty floor? Would a clean floor make this facility a better neighbor
I would say yes.
once the,
I would say yes.
is it significant?
Well, I have not had the privilege to see the new technology. It's only been out there 5 years. I have seen the traditional ones, but they do a great job with misters and they keep the doors closed. So they do a great job keeping the odor in. So, but the traditional one, it goes into a pit and goes right out of there. It doesn't sit on the floor.
Right.
So I would definitely see a bonus to that.
I would just say for my fellow commissioners, I lived for many years in the town of Bedford in New Hampshire, and we had a transfer station. The trucks would pull in and the
Right.
stuff was, but it was still kind of messy and things
Right.
got on the floor and it wasn't compacted.
Right.
It stunk in the summer, but Bedford also did not have household trash pickup.
So you drop
So
that
everybody
there.
was there on a
Right.
Saturday morning, and just be thankful that we're in Northport when we campaign for our positions, because anyone running for a select person in the town of Bedford was at that dump on every Saturday
Oh, boy.
morning. So just be grateful
Oh,
that we don't have one of those.
Oh, boy.
They are smelly.
Yep.
Okay, that's it. I yield the floor.
Okay.
Commissioner White?
Yes, so the preferred property you said is the one that you're neutral about, or the green good?
If you like, this is the property right here. I don't know if we can go ahead and show that.
Yeah, I was gonna ask if, can you put the map up
Yeah.
and show what that is again?
Can I show it? There it is. That's the solid waste property, Commissioner White, right
Okay,
there.
can you put up the other map that has a little dot?
Yep,
Show where that,
yep. It is to the far right, where the 5 green dots are, just below that to the right.
oh, okay, okay. All right. And I understand this, the biggest advantage would be that when those trucks are being driven, you don't have a worker, obviously, doing the work. I mean, collecting garbage, because they're driving, they're spending all that time to drive to the
Right.
right. Because I can't think of a day that goes by when I'm on 75 that I don't see a City of Northport garbage truck.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just-
We like to eliminate that.
Right.
Too many trucks on 75.
Yeah. And then you said the clean transfer, I'm happy to hear that. This would be nothing like what was at Chamberlain some years.
Yeah,
Do you
no.
remember that? Were
Yes.
you here when?
No, won't be like that at all. Yeah, no, I was here for that.
Okay. And garbage is a fact of life. We have to deal with it. You know, and it doesn't go away. We just bury it on our planet.
And it's growing. It's
Yes,
growing and growing. So,
right. And I just your numbers though, you said we would be a medium,
yes, ma'am.
right? And you said 200, because we produce about 213 tons of.
Yep, all solid waste each day. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, but you said the city of Sarasota has 200 tons a day? at
Yes,
Leon?
and they only do garbage at their transfer station, at their site. That's all they do,
Okay,
just garbage.
okay.
Yep, 52,000, and we produce 42,300.
And we have more population than them.
We do.
obviously.
Remember, they're building up. So they have 25 square miles, 55,000 people. They're building up. Here we are, we're building out.
Yeah, yeah. And I thought I had one other question, I'm sorry, let's see, that, nothing touches the ground, right, trucks would be off the road. And yeah, that is the area of the city that would be more for,
It would.
right. And if we bought private property, it would be, I'm assuming all those properties are zoned for commercial,
Correct, they are.
which means if we bought them, they'd be off the tax rolls. Okay. That's it for me. Thank you.
Commissioner McDowell?
Thank you, Mayor. So this property that you have, that you're requesting, the one that's right there by Five Leaf, that's owned by,
That's the property on Teal. Silverleaf you're talking about?
no,
Silverleaf is Teal, but we're
The-
talking,
if you put
Of
the one
course.
that you have in your backup materials,
course.
the, kind of looks like a shield.
yeah, it's up there.
Okay.
Yep. This is our solid waste property where the yard waste center is located right now.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, this is it.
You
This is
read
it.
my mind,
That's
because that
it.
was my question.
Yes, and the craziest thing is Silverleaf runs around the back to Teal Lane, and Teal is up in the top corner.
Okay,
Yep.
so this property right here is where the organics transfer
Yes,
station
it
is
is.
currently.
Correct, and you've all been there.
Okay,
And some of it is already cleared.
and there's definitely enough space to build a medium transfer station.
We believe so. Yes.
Probably gonna have to jockey some stuff
Well,
around.
if we go ahead and do the 5 properties and change the residential into commercial there with the 5 properties, gives us another acre and a half.
I'm sorry,
that
what
could-
5 properties? Are you talking about the tropical one?
Sorry, north, 5 properties north, the 5
Oh, you
residential
want to
properties.
purchase those?
Yes, they're about 1.5 acres. Okay, they run appraised at less than 15,000, so I'm thinking 25,000 maybe to purchase them. But yes, that's what we're looking to do for future because we like a buffer and we like to expand if we had to. So that would give us an opportunity.
Okay, good to know.
Yep,
I must have missed that in your presentation. I apologize.
that's all right.
I think I was just focused on that property going, isn't that where the organics is?
That's it.
All right, I am a little bit hung up with this public-private partnership.
Okay.
And if, Mayor, if I could have a little bit of latitude, I'll get to a question.
Go right ahead. You got the floor.
Solid Waste has done an amazing job over the years. To me, removing trash is the number one, not the number one, a huge priority of any city government. And it can become quite volatile if somebody leaves. Look what happens when, like, Waste Management has problems with their contract with a city. Look at what happens if they go on strike, all those
Yep.
kind of volatile kind of situations. Especially if you have a public-private partnership, it starts out wonderful, everybody's so happy,
Right.
you have the wonderful honeymoon period, and then you run into problems with customer service, you
Right.
run into problems with getting the trash picked up on time,
Right.
and we lose that control.
Well, remember, we still own the land. So we have total control because we own the land. We would never do that.
But we don't operate it.
No, we
Because
would
you're
not operate it.
looking at trying to get a private
Correct.
partnership to operate it.
And real
You
quick,
guys have a stellar reputation. Of all the departments, you guys, I don't know, it must be your videos, I don't
it's
know.
gotta be.
But you guys do stellar work. Your customer service is there. You're 100% responsible for
Right.
customer service, collection, disposal, everything. That is what a city is supposed to do. I'm having a hard time understanding, why would you want to give that up and give it to somebody
And
else
there-
to
there's
take
a
care of?
reason staff and I discussed this, and the reason why is because they have funds right away. With us, it might take us a little time. A private partner would have funds immediately, where solid waste might take a little time to get that done. Baby steps, yeah. So, I mean, I wish it could be quicker, but that's the reason why. And Chuck, if you'd like to say anything to that?
Yeah, and Chuck Speak, interim Public Works Director, we had extensive conversations about just that exact thing. We would love to have complete control.
Mhm.
And then we have it from top to bottom. There were questions about letting a private company come in, and there's companies that have reached out about building a spot here, and, you know, where could they build it? They want to own the land, they want to own the building, but if they decide to fold up shop and leave, and we've already made adjustments to our operation, now we're on the hook. So we would want to, at the minimum, own the land, knowing that a private partnership, as Frank said, they're coming in, they want to make money, they have funds in hand to build this facility. In that agreement that we would have at that private partnership, what we would try to do is say that they would have this facility for X amount of years, and then it would be turned over to the city. Okay, it would benefit them in the front, and then it would benefit the city in the back. It would also have language in there that if they defaulted on their services to us, that we would take over that property prior to that date. So you kind of try to tie their hands to where they have to at least provide service to us, because we don't want to get in this agreement and end up in a worse position than we are now, having to go to Sarasota every day and kind of, that's the only place we can go, it's the closest place, and every single truck we have has to go there.
Okay. And I appreciate you explaining that. So what happens to our guys and gals that are currently employed with the city if we went to a P3? They would possibly bring in their own crew. They may change the paying structure.
The only thing,
I see
Commissioner,
no difference between them doing it and just Waste Management taking care of trash.
so the difference is, the only thing they would operate is that transfer facility. They
We would still collect the trash?
We still collect it. We drop it off. The only thing
Okay.
they do is they put it in the truck, the hauler, and they haul it to the landfill of their choice. Now, we're going to pay more per ton to do that than we would if we had it ourselves, of course. But they would have the employees that ran the actual facility itself. All the rest of the trash collection will be the same as it is now. We would just not go to Sarasota. We would go to the transfer station.
So we would still have the maintenance of the trash collection machineries.
Yes.
They would be in charge of everything on that parcel of property.
Correct.
And if I may jump in also, we can try this private partnership, and when we sit down and discuss it with them, if the price isn't right, it's not happening. I refuse to let that happen, so, and I know Chuck's the same way, feels the same way. It has to be a perfect partnership. If it isn't, we're gonna move on to do it ourselves, because we're good at that.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And I mean, when I say you guys have a stellar reputation with the citizens and surrounding areas. I
Yeah,
mean,
thank
you
you.
really do. People come to you guys for advice on how to do things. And I would hate to have this wonderful partnership that just somehow, some way turns sour over time. And then we have to pick up those pieces. We
Okay.
don't have the manpower, we don't have the equipment, and we have to then scramble to try and make it work because of whatever reason, the honeymoon is over and we all got divorced.
Okay,
That's a concern of
Understandable.
mine. It's a concern
Understandable.
of mine.
yep, understandable.
So
Understandable.
at this time, I yield the floor, and I agree 100% with that property.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Commissioner Luke.
Thank you very much. I don't have an issue with having a contractor. I mean, we did it initially with our recycle, and this is just the baby steps, repeating what we did until we can take the whole thing on ourselves. If something happened to it, well, guess what? Our trucks are running down the road delivering it until we can come up with Plan B. So I'm fine with that. I do have a question, though, in regards to a contractor. Who determines whether it's tradition or new technology?
Well,
If they're going to operate it, who makes that determination?
that's something we will discuss with them. We will have to discuss that with them. And if it doesn't work out and we don't like what they're saying, we're moving on. Option 2.
So you would look at what the costs were of them to do tradition versus the new technology,
Correct.
and that new technology is the clean floor, correct?
Correct.
I like the,
how
I
they-
like the clean floor.
And how they charge you is by ton. So they don't give you, they give you a bill, say we do 53,000 tons. They'll add $30 or $40 or $50 on top of what you're paying at the landfill. That's how they make their money. The tonnages. That's how they do it.
So that would be determined when you negotiate.
Yes. And if it doesn't
Okay.
work out, we'll be doing option 2.
I am definitely for us using city property. There's no sense of starting off behind the 8 ball purchasing these properties. That is why I have a little bit of problem with 5, the one that you're talking about.
Yep.
Where our yard waste is at, because
Yep.
you're going to have to purchase, and I wouldn't say 5, I would say 6 lots.
Okay.
Because those lots are residential, I believe.
Yes, they are.
And that one on that corner, nobody's going to want to build a house right there by
And
that station.
That wouldn't be a problem.
So I would think 6 lots. And you said they're going for
The 5
15,000 a
lots
lot?
were less than 15,000 appraised for, but I'm thinking, I don't think they'll take an appraisal price. They're gonna want something, 25,000 for all 5 or 6.
25 for all of them?
I'm thinking, yeah.
Well, that's a steal.
Well, I'm not a realtor, so I'm just,
Okay, now, because 2, the Langless, that could actually be divided, and you could actually operate at the northern section, and whatever happened at the southern section, that could happen too. But it would just be a division of the property. How much property would you want to utilize at the top part of the Langless?
10 acres?
Oh, wow, so that leaves like 42 acres or something to the south?
Yeah.
So 10 acres, and that would accommodate whatever you needed. I kind of like that too, because it was closer to 75, able to transport without going really far back. But if you could bring up some screen showing what is around 2 and 5, is it commercial or residential that's surrounding these? We know 5 has got residential around it, because we're talking about purchasing those. But what about around 2? Or yeah, 2. Do you have a map that you can pull up?
You may have the pack, Commissioner.
Yeah, yep. Chuck.
Are you calling 2 Langless Park?
Yes, 2 is Langless.
There's residential near it, but there's a drainage canal and a road.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Teal Lane. I'm sorry. Number 5 is Teal Lane up in the corner of the property?
No, that one to me is out.
Okay.
To me, that's too close to the watershed, and you got wetlands up there. That's way, way up in the corner. So
Right.
not Teal, no. 2, which is Langless. What is around that?
Around 2 is what you're talking on your side.
The northern part.
Yeah, the northern part.
Yeah, those lots to the northern side, and there's a waterway along the top edge of that northern section as well.
That bare area?
Correct. So if you look just above that, those will be residential lots across the waterway.
Okay, so both of those properties have residential around them. There's nothing really zoned commercial at this point in time.
Except number 3. Except number 3.
Okay, I was
And that's your.
There-
that's our key.
I was looking at 2 and 5. To me, they're the better. All right, I'll yield the floor. Thank you, Mayor.
All right, I have some other commissioners that want to ask, but I got a question in the middle of this. When we were looking at the cost factor and the savings between the traditional and the new technology, the numbers you had up there was actually cheaper going with the new technology. Why?
Well, when you have a new technology, if you have, say you have one chute, okay, compared to having 2 trailers, you get more in a trailer because of compaction. And then the facility can be a lot smaller because you don't need such big of a facility, because you need more trailers to load the material and place it in. So it would be a cost savings over the years. Yes.
Right, and you
Yes.
wouldn't have, your dozers pushing the stuff in.
Nothing like that. Nothing. No.
Okay. My other question is, if you had the perfect scenario, what do you recommend?
I would love to have an environmental park here, having 50 acres. I would enjoy it because I could do so much with it. But besides that, I like the idea of new technology and a clean floor. I like it. And I think that it's safer. I think you'd have less people running it. There's a lot more to that, and I think it'd be cleaner. Definitely for the environment, you're digging down 5 feet. It's in a metal tube. It goes up a escalator type and goes right into the chute. That's the way to go. But you have to look at the dollar amount. If traditional will work, that's where we're going to go. Even though it's a dirty floor, City of Sarasota can do it. Northport can do it. Just put some sprayers up there, keep the doors closed, only open them up when you have to. It can work. But personally, myself, I'm into the clean floor. I think it'd be spotless for the people, and we all know how the recycling center I am. I have to make sure it's spotless. Yard waste, I have to make sure it's spotless. So something really, Chuck.
Yeah, Mayor, if I could, this is us scratching the surface on this project. We really need to know what the board's direction is, where you guys would like to see this, so we can see how much property we have available. That's going to determine, as Frank said, that new technology, we can use a smaller footprint. So if it's a smaller lot, that forces us in that direction. If it's a bigger lot, we can go the other way. That doesn't mean once this is successful in the future, we can't move to upgrade to the new technology. But as he said, we need to kind of find a direction that of the board, our next step will be really digging into these properties and then coming up and meeting with a consultant to find out some real hard costs for this kind of a project, to project how we can do this.
All right, so basically the direction you're looking for is where we're gonna put it.
That's
And
the
then
first step, sir.
after this, you're gonna go out and talk with people, find out costs, possibly negotiate a P3, depending on how everything goes with monies. That's all coming later. So you just wanna know where we're gonna put it.
Where we're going to go, and a blessing that this is
Permission.
the direction
Right.
that the city wants to go as far as a transfer station. Understanding that the location of this property, where we determine that we can put this property, may also influence a P3's interest in the agreement. So those are things we have to know. The first thing they're going to say is, where is it going to be? Because if they've got extra travel time, that's going to influence whatever kind of agreement we can have with them, or if they're even interested.
Right, but we ain't even there yet. So.
Correct.
So let's get the basis in. Okay, thank you. That's all I had. Vice Mayor Langdon.
Yeah, I have a very quick follow-up question. So we're currently at 213 tons a day, almost halfway on the path to exceeding a medium capacity facility. How many years?
We're doing about 3,000 tons a year extra for garbage. That's what we're doing right now. So just use the garbage amount. So we're doing about 3,000 tons extra each year just for garbage. So 10 years.
So a medium capacity facility would last about 10
And right now, the
years.
way the growth is, I mean, we're growing and growing and growing. So things might change. I mean, but I don't think so right now. The way things are going, we're growing. I mean, at this clip, the way we're going, we're outdoing ourselves. We're working out of a small trailer. We only be 36 people. So you're
Right.
going to need more people. But something like this, that would help out with trucks, people. That would get us going down the road a little farther, save money. But the way the city's growing, 10 years.
Yeah, you would have to double
So
nearly double the population.
so my question really is, the solid waste property that we're considering for this facility, if we have to double our capacity at build-out, will this location still suffice? I'm sort of thinking that compacting the trash would be essential if we want this facility, even if we expand it, to still fit on this footprint. You see where I'm
Correct.
going with
You
it?
would, yep, correct. And all you would do there is the facility can stay the same. Say you have 3 chutes.
Yeah.
That could stay the same. The only thing that's going to change is how many trailers are going back and forth.
Oh, so this footprint facility would be sufficient at
Yep.
build-up? We wouldn't have to do any relocation or any major expansion?
Correct.
If
Unless,
we do the compaction?
yeah, well, you have to remember, do we want the public there? Are we collecting metal there? I mean, there's so many, refrigerators, appliances. I mean, there's so many
Right.
more you can do.
Right.
So that's the adding on part. But the structure itself, if you have 3 chutes, 1 for yard waste, 1 for recycle, and 1 for garbage, it'll work. One of the chutes go down, you have to get it fixed. You do recycling in 1 chute, and then yard waste in the same chute, and just have 1 for garbage. So it can still work out with the
Okay.
same, what we have there.
Okay. But it sounds like that's an added impetus for doing the compaction method, because everything will continue to fit and not
Continue.
be an
There'll
issue.
just be more trailers, that's it. Yep. More trailers
Okay.
going up.
Okay, good. I mean, I'm inclined to, I think I like the location of this, provided that it doesn't cause transportation issues, because if the stuff is being hauled to Sarasota, we're way out east here, so that would be one concern. But it sounds like this location would be good. It's sufficient for our needs, even to build out. I like the clean floor. I like the idea of the
Yes.
compaction.
Yep.
I feel more comfortable that the facility, as you're proposing, will still work for us as we approach build out.
Okay.
So that's where I'm leaning. I'm done. Thank you.
Commissioner McDowell?
Yeah, I just have a couple of follow-up questions. I'm still kind of hung up on this P3 because I've lived and seen when we have, when you have outside vendors taking care of trash pickup. Totally get it. We're going to be picking up our own, but you still have an outside vendor that is investing $30 million to build us this facility. And it's not going to be a short term. When we had our recycling transfer station, yes, we had an outside and we had our employees there. It was our building, it was our land, everything was ours, except we hired a subcontractor to do little bits here and there before we did it all. So to me, it's night and day.
Okay.
They're going to build a facility that would not just be waste transfer. It would also be recycling transfer, the commingle, and also the yard waste.
Correct. Whatever we tell them to put there, that's what they'll work out with us.
Okay.
Correct.
And I agree, it needs to be the compacting one. That way then it even saves us more money. Yes, there's going to be a little bit more outlay to build a bigger facility or whatever for that compaction part of it, but it's going to pay for itself in the long run.
Decision you made today,
Boy, that P3 I'm still really hung up on that one. I love them, I really do. But this is a service that cities provide. And you don't mess with that. That'd be like saying, hey, let's outsource the fire department. No, I'm not advocating that, chief. Or the police department, I'm not advocating that either, but it's along those same lines. So the only other thing is utilities. Eventually, if we're going to proceed with this, there's nothing out there, folks.
correct. And I kind of looked into that. It was tough, but you're looking at about $30,000 for the well and about $350,000 for the poles.
For the
poles.
Oh, for electric.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was tough trying to get those prices. They didn't really give it up.
And we'll have to have septic or.
It would be a well and whatever, septic, yeah.
Okay.
And utilities helped me out with that. And FPL was kind of tough. I stopped and talked to somebody. Can't get a hold of anybody, so. But that's what you're looking at, probably at $350,000.
And don't focus too much on the P3 right now. We're just looking for that. This is the direction the city wants to go with the transfer station. We'll do that background and then bring it back with that further information of what the options are. When we dig into it, the P3 may not work out for anybody. There may be no interest, or it just may be so
Okay.
outrageous.
I thought that was part of the direction you were looking
Option
for
one.
today, because you had option 1, 2, or 3.
Yep.
Right.
Option 1 was completely let a P3. Option 2 was P3, we own the land. And option 3 was we do it all. So that's what I thought you were looking for, some kind of direction in that way.
And we don't want you to box us in on that just yet, because we don't
Okay.
know. This is just what the options are going forward. We're looking for that. Where can we put it? And do we want to move in this direction?
Okay, thank you.
And a lot of times what'll happen is too, the private companies they want acres. Us giving 10 acres might not be enough for them. They might say, I would just move on.
Because understand, they may want to accept refuse from other places
Correct. They might want
to make money. So they
of
may
course.
they may offer it to Charlotte to bring
Yeah.
people, to bring theirs. They may offer it to Sarasota, whoever.
And also the
However,
recycling
they're
too.
going to do this to make money. So
Yep.
that's another option that we have to kind of dig into. And is that something that we want?
And besides the garbage, to be recycling too.
Right.
The only one place is in Sarasota where we're going, so.
Again, there goes that stellar reputation you already have. All right, Mayor, I believe that's all I have. I just was also wondering about Langless, that northern part of it. It looks like it's pretty well cleared. Looking at the map here, I know it's owned by Road and Drainage. I'm sure they'll sell it to you really cheap.
I only own a small piece of that.
Oh, okay.
And Sandy's not here.
Oh, that's right, Parks and Rec.
So
That's right. It's Parks and Rec.
yes, it's
Yeah,
Parks and Rec.
All right, thank you.
Well, maybe we need to vote on it when she's not here.
Oh, I'm stepping out on that one.
Just teasing. Commissioner Luke, you're up.
Thank you, sir. I've got some maps over here I've been looking at since speaking and questioning last time. It looks as though Activity Center 6 takes that loop around
That's the Shire.
Yorkshire. But they also came down along the Langless area and included that in Activity Center 6. There is general commercial on that northern right side of that also.
Yeah.
So you could put something in there on that northern tip of Langless and blend in with the commercial. But looking at this map, the 1-5, where you've got your station already, that is just outside of Activity Center 6. And those properties that you would be purchasing would be outside of Activity Center 6 also. A short distance from that in Activity Center 6, you've got a large portion of commercial. So though I have always leaned to the northern tip of Langless, I kind of like the idea of it being outside of Activity Center 6, so Activity Center 6 can be more directed to some of the ideas that some of us have had of making it more commercial out there. So I believe I'm in agreement with your recommendation at this point, but I would recommend that you purchase the 6 properties to the top, not just 5. So with what I stated, with the maps that you guys have, do you concur that I am reading these maps properly?
That's how I read it.
Okay, thank you. That finishes me, Mayor.
All right. Do we have any online public comment?
We do not.
None in-house. I'll be looking for a motion.
I'll attempt a motion
I'll attempt to remember it. If not, clerk, pay attention.
there. Before I go to the motion, I just want to double check. How are you exactly referring to the property that's on Yorkshire that already has the organics on it? What is
The solid waste owned property.
solid waste owned property? All right, Mayor, if I could, I'll make a couple of motions. That way then it's crystal clear instead of one long big one.
As you wish.
Mayor, I'll make a motion to instruct the city manager to proceed with a waste transfer station at the solid waste owned property that currently has organics on it.
Second.
We have a motion on the floor to instruct the city manager to proceed with the solid waste station and putting it at the solid waste owned property. Did I get that?
Yes.
Okay, that was made by Commissioner McDowell and seconded by Commissioner Luke. Go ahead and vote. Anything to it? I mean, sorry, and then vote.
I believe I stated everything that
I thought you did right before you finished
previously.
up.
Yes.
And that passes 5-0.
Mayor, I'd like to make another motion.
Go right ahead.
Make a motion to in other words, hang on, to have city manager proceed with purchasing the 6 properties to the very north of the solid waste property along Silverleaf Road.
One second.
I am only going to second for discussion.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor to instruct the city manager to proceed with the purchase of the 6 properties just north of the solid waste owned property near, did you say Silverleaf?
Silverleaf Road.
Silverleaf Road. That was made by Commissioner McDowell and seconded by Commissioner Luke for discussion. Commissioner Luke?
I'm wondering, questioning staff, if it's necessary that this be placed in at this point prior to your discussions of everything else. Are we going at this too quickly? Is it something that we may have to remove at a later point, or is staff fine with it?
I think we should move forward with at least the appraisals and attempt to purchase the properties. Either way, whether we do a partnership or we do this in-house, this location will meet our needs.
And if I could speak to the motion, Mayor.
Are you finished?
Yeah,
Did
so
that
go,
answer your
and then
question?
I'll follow.
Okay,
Yes.
Commissioner McDowell?
Yeah, I think it's important to get those properties, only because it's going to create a bigger buffer. This will fit any expansion needs we may have. We have to think long-term. Right now, organics doesn't need any expansion, but we don't know what the future holds. And it's not gonna hurt. There's 6 different property owners. So it's gonna take some time, and if we don't start now, it may be too late. So,
And Commissioner Luke, you said you wanted to.
Yeah,
speak
I
one
just
more.
wanted to see if it was something, because she stated to purchase them, not to investigate, to purchase. So just wanted to make sure staff was all right with the way it was stated to go ahead and purchase. Of course, you're going to get appraisals and stuff like that ahead of time, but because the motion was to purchase them, I wanted to make sure they were fine. So I'm all right with the motion as long as they stated they're
Okay, so
good
the
with
second
it.
stands.
Yes.
I have a question.
You weren't part of the two? No, go ahead. That's
I-
right. Commissioner Luke.
I just wanted to ask, if I can, do you think it's worth consideration for them to be able to consider the other properties? Are they even on the table for you guys? Or no? I mean,
The other properties that were presented today,
no, the city-owned properties. Because the motion is for just that one particular parcel.
Correct.
That's it.
Right now. That's what
So
we're
we
looking
don't
at
want, we
right
don't
now.
want to consider the other city-owned properties, just to give them some leeway there in case, I don't know, something, no?
Well, I guess it's going to depend on the vote.
the vote was already
Yeah, it's
taken
already
to
made.
proceed with the solid waste owned property.
Right,
That
that
currently
one,
has,
that one.
right.
But there's other city-owned properties. We don't want to just throw that in the mix just to,
Well, this is to buy the adjoining properties to that property to make it one whole property. So if this passes, we would be staying with that property because we're looking to add on to it. We wouldn't consider another one because we're just investing into this one
okay,
on
but we're
this
still, okay, but that's
motion.
still options. I mean,
We come to this meeting because we had the options previously. So to you, you're kind of behind the 8 ball a little bit. You're in the final selection because we had been looking at these properties. And that's why we've come to this final of deciding which one city-owned that we want.
okay. All right, yeah. If you have the city attorney.
All right, we have a motion on the floor to proceed to purchase the 6, I believe, adjoining properties next to the solid waste owned property just north of Silverleaf Avenue, I believe. And let's vote.
City
Got
attorney's
city
lights on.
attorney's
No, sorry.
lights on.
It wasn't on my thingy. Sorry.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to be clear, because there's been some discussion about how the motion is worded, that before an actual purchase goes through, these properties will come back to you
Mhm.
via resolution, the other documentation for purchase.
Right. Please vote. And that passes 5-0.
Mayor, let's try one more, just so that the solid waste department is clear on what we're looking for. I know that they still have to do your due diligence, but let's get it, if we could put it on the record to proceed with make a motion to proceed with a clean floor, new technology type of transfer station.
We have a motion on the floor to proceed with a clean type of system. Do I have a second?
Clean floor with
Clean
new
floor
technology
with new
type of
technology.
system.
Technology system.
I'll second.
And we have a motion on the floor by Commissioner McDowell for the new technology clean floor system, seconded by Commissioner White. Yeah, absolutely.
Just want to make sure that is the correct way to phrase that for the compaction.
I would add compaction, a compaction
Add
type system.
compaction to the motion?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so new technology with compaction. Okay, if I could add with compaction to that motion, Mayor?
City Clerk, is that okay? Okay.
Is that okay for whoever seconded?
Yes, that's still. I said
Okay,
second.
we have a motion on the floor to pursue the new technology clean floor with compaction technology. And that was seconded by Commissioner White.
Thank you, Mayor.
Vote, please.
Discussion? You have two
Oh,
people who want to
This
chat.
screen has got to go back and forth then because I can't vote and see the list of people wanting to
Right.
speak.
Right.
So I can't see it up. That's not happening.
You'll get used to it, Mayor.
Used to be on that vote screen.
Yeah.
You'll get used to it.
Go ahead, Commissioner Langdon,
Yes.
or Vice Mayor, sorry.
So I'm concerned, let me back up. I think we've been really clear that our preference is the clean floor and the compaction technology, but I'm feeling at this point it's too premature to put that in a directive, in a motion to solid waste. I'd rather leave it open. I'm sensing that it might give you a little bit more flexibility in talking with different vendors and sort of evaluating pros and cons of each approach. So maybe a little feedback from staff. I think clearly we have a strong preference for that technology, but I'm wondering if we wouldn't overly limit your ability to evaluate. So feedback on that, please.
Sure, and if you would like to add in to compare traditional with the compaction technology and bring back those numbers and pros and cons, we're going to do that anyway.
I was just going to say, that's what you stated you were going to be
Right.
Yes,
doing.
ma'am.
And that as you negotiated, you clearly stated you would be looking at the cost and the effectiveness of both of them. I'm in total agreement with Vice Mayor.
Yeah, and we can gather all the information that way. Of course, we would lean towards that compaction technology just to handle the growth of the city. If it's going to be feasible up front, or if that's something that we'll have to, retrofit in the future of expansion. But if we can change that to include both standard or traditional, as well as the compaction technology, then we can bring that information back.
Yeah, I would be more comfortable not pursuing that third motion at this point in time.
But we have to give them direction.
I don't know that we need direction for that. We're going to perform that exercise.
Okay. All right, well,
What we can do is, we can vote on the motion, or are you still good with the motion, and are you still good with
Well,
the second?
in light of what they had said, that they are still planning to move forward with bringing back a comparison with the traditional dirty floor, non-compaction versus what the motion had, that's fine with me. I just thought you wanted to hear our preference to give you that direction. So when you're talking with the P3, you said you would then have in your toolbox, the commission wants this. And to me, that is what the motion is saying, is we as a commission want you to proceed with this, because that's what we think would be best for current and future needs. But if you're saying that, hey, we may not be able to do a compaction thing, That's not what I heard during your presentation.
Right, so it would be helpful if the commission as a body would tell us what you prefer, but not lock us in.
Correct.
That way we can go both directions, bring back everything, knowing if we're having talks with someone that our commissioner, as well as us, trust me, we prefer the compaction as well. But there may be constraints that are going to come into play, whether it be the costs that are associated with that. But we don't know any of that yet. So if you want to give us that direction, that's your preference as the board, then we can relay that information and move forward in that direction, knowing that we're going to go and gather on both sides of that coin.
So maybe, Mayor, what I might need to do with the motion is to add the words that the commission prefers solid waste proceed with a clean floor with new technology compaction system. That way then-
I'm willing to make a new motion too.
That's basically the same thing. That's what we just instructed in the motion, is we're sitting there going for the clean new technology. And that's what you just said again about proceeding with the clean new
We
technology.
prefer that solid waste proceed. Before, the motion was more absolute, and this way, by saying we prefer to proceed with, then that gives them the flexibility I think they might need.
Or we could just pull the motion in the second and it dies and they bring us back information, like they said they were going to do in the presentation.
They just said they would prefer to have the
If the
boards-
motion stayed on the floor, correct? Am I correct on that?
Either way you want it, we're going to bring back both sides of this. So
you do not
it would
need
be helpful
direction.
for us, though, if we knew what your thoughts are, so we can look further into one than the other. If someone questions us about it, we can say, this is kind of the direction. I don't want E3 to come and say, we're really interested in us travel a path, knowing that your preference as the board. And I know that everyone wants it.
But you need it in a motion on the record, documented in the minutes, so that you can say, this is what my commission is wanting us to proceed with.
Correct.
With flexibility.
I prefer that.
Thank you.
Can we hear the motion again? Can we hear the motion again?
Yeah.
What is it?
City Clerk, can we hear the motion again, please?
To proceed with a clean floor, new technology with compaction type of transfer station.
So
You want to add the word preferred.
if you would like, Mayor, I am not pulling my motion. I'm going to make that clear.
That's
Based on
fine.
the conversation, I'm not pulling my motion.
I'm understanding. That's why I asked the
But
question
what I
as well.
could do is make an amendment.
Sure.
To say that the commission prefers that solid waste proceed, and then the rest of the motion.
That's fine.
Need a second to that?
Yep.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor. Did you hear what she said, City Clerk, for the amendment? Okay. Ms. Luke, or Commissioner Luke, your light is on.
Yeah, I was going to speak to this earlier. I think everything can be summed up by choosing the option 2 and then asking the staff to bring back information on both traditional and the compaction clean floor. I think that is easy, and you're you're investigating and you're bringing back the information. I think we're dancing in circles personally myself.
All right, I'm going to call the question for the amendment. Please vote. And that passes 4-1 with Commissioner Luke dissenting. Commissioner Luke?
I think it's all muddled and it's not clear. So, yeah, I'm against it.
And now for the main motion, please vote.
As amended.
As amended, sorry. And that passes 4-1 with Commissioner Luke dissenting. Say,
Again, I think it's muddled. I think it could have been far more clear. So And if you're ready, I would like to make a motion to.
Sure.
That we go with option 2 that staff has recommended, and they research that and bring back their findings to us.
I have to see what option 2 is before.
Now that everybody's got their paper stacked, we have a motion on the floor to proceed with option 2 as presented earlier. Do I have a second?
I'll second for discussion. What is option 2? Is it listed as option 2?
If I may, Mayor.
Yes.
Says, according to my staff summary report, it says option 2, direct staff to purchase land and pursue a private partner to design, build, and operate a facility.
And that was recommended by staff.
Option 1, in closing, option 1, our first option would be to own land, outsource, private partnership, design, build, and operate the facility. Our option 2 would be for us to own the land, design, build, and operate the facility. Those are the 2 options in closing that we gave you.
What is your?
I saw 3 options.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think on the staff summary.
in our legislative text, there's 3 options, and
So there were 3 options in that text. These are the options, the recommendations, not so much the options, the recommendations of staff.
so what is your recommendation?
So our first recommendation would be to own the land and then have the P3 come in and build the facility. Again, that's solely to get it up and running quicker.
So your recommendation was option 2 of our
Yes, ma'am.
legislative text,
Yes,
correct?
And then our second, which would be to own the land, build the facility, operate it in-house. And the only downfall to that is the initial capital outlay on the city's part.
Maybe, Mayor, if you could
I
state.
have a question first, but with what the direction you were just given by the motions that we've had before, you're getting all that information and coming back already. Wouldn't this handcuff you just a little bit more going forward? If I
At
understand
this
it?
stage of the game, yes. it would.
Right. So it'd be best to just leave what we have on the table and then you have enough direction moving forward,
And we're going to
correct?
bring back
And you're
all of
gonna bring
those.
back, yeah, I understand that, but I'm just saying, you've got enough direction for today,
Yes, sir.
is what I'm asking.
All right, I'm going to pull my motion, hearing what they have stated. I'm not going to ask them to explain why it handcuffs them more. I'll find that out after the meeting, but I'm going to withdraw that if they feel they have more flexibility. To me, the legislative text stated they needed an option given to them. So that is why I was making the motion, trying to obey what was in the legislative text, needing direction too.
Right.
So I've withdrawn my motion.
Well, thank you, and I understand that, but we sort of went around a few different angles.
We did a rat chase.
So I just wanted to make sure that they were comfortable with what they had
Thank you for
and we're
doing so.
comfortable with what we needed, and then we can move forward.
Thank
So,
you.
No, thank you for. All righty then, moving right along. Do we have any public comment?
We do not.
And none in-house. It is 5:34 and I adjourn this meeting.